Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery. Got a product video for you today. We wanted to tell you about the Black Gold Pro Hunter HD sight. This is a 5-pin bow sight from the folks at Black Gold, and right up front you're going to notice this is a Dovetail sight bar, but there is no mounting block, so this is going to be a sight that's primarily intended for use with the Matthews Bridgelock system. That's the system where you insert the dovetail directly into the riser. You don't need a mounting block, and then you're just going to have a set screw that goes down into these divots to set this in place. So, but this dovetail is perfectly sized for that Matthews Bridgelock. So that's what this is going to be set for. All right, so let's go over the sight here. It is a 5-pin sight, as you can see there. So a typical setup for that might be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 yards. Black Gold, what they have done with their pin setup in here is you're going to notice that they really narrowed the throat. That is the area of the pin right before you get to the fiber. It's really skinny. That just helps eliminate blocking of the target. When you're aiming down there, you know, you really only want to see that pin, but the pin has to be connected to the sight somehow. So they just made that piece of metal really skinny. However, it is still a blade. You can see inside there. This is not just a skinny little stick piece of metal. These pins are bladed, so that's going to make them strong. So that's a great feature there. Now, each one of these pins, you are going to be able to adjust individually. They've got their set screws on the back of the scope here. You're just going to loosen and then raise and lower as needed. Now, this sight is what I'm going to call sort of a hybrid sight. So we do have our 5 pins, which are going to be fixed position, but then we do have the wheel here. So if I loosen that, I can raise and lower the entire scope. You can see, which is a feature typical of single pin sights, but we do have it on this one. So how would you use that? How I would use it is I would have, again, I'd have my pin set up 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then my last pin, I'm going to set that up as my movable pin for above 60 yards, 60 yards and beyond. So I'm going to have my indicator right here. What I'm going to do is once I get my pins all set at those 5 distances, I'm going to move this indicator down to 60 yards. So I know that that's where my sight is set to be able to use the 20, 30, 40, 50 pins. And then as I go beyond 60 yards, then I'm going to have my sight tape calibrated for beyond 60 yards. And I would move that down, and then I can get, 70, 80, 90, any yardage in between. That's how I would set it up. If you have a different way, if you want to have your sight indicator matching your top pin, that's your prerogative as well. Now, as for adjustments on this sight, let's start out with the 3 axes. So you're going to have your first adjustment, second axis. That's going to be right here. These 2 screws, that's going to be, you want that as you move the sight block up and down, you want to make sure it's going perfectly vertical and not at an angle. That's how you keep your pins, the separation of your pins. That's how you keep your left and right static no matter what distance you're at. So this is going to be these screws here. You're going to loosen them, put a level on the sight, and then you can adjust. You'll be adjusting this way, but only with this block. Then you come to your second adjustment on your second axis is right here, these 2 screws. So I've already loosened them just so I can show you how they move, but once you have your bow in a vise and you're adjusting your level, you loosen these screws and then you can move it this way. You see, the whole ring is what moves, and the ring is connected to, or the level is connected to the ring. So once I have that in there, I loosen those screws, and then as you can see, I can move that back and forth that's going to help me get my level set. It has the effect of this way, is what that does when you're working with these two screws. So then, third axis. We have two lockdown screws. There's going to be one here, and there's going to be one inside this hole right here. You have to loosen both of those, and then you're going to come to the back side, and you're going to turn this clockwise or counterclockwise. Turning that screw in or out is going to move your scope this way. That's your third axis. So that's your adjustment set for that. And you can really fine tune that just by turning that screw. It's going to move it just in small increments. Now, your windage and elevation for when you're getting your scope set. You know, you're going to have your scope set for where your pins are evenly spaced throughout the scope there. These are your adjustments. So right here on this side, I am going to have a locking screw. If I loosen that, now I'm able to move my scope up and down. So that's going to be my elevation once I get it set. Flip the sight over under here. This is going to be my windage. I loosen this, and then I'm able to move the scope left and right. That's my windage adjustment there. Once I get it set, just lock that back into place, and then nothing's going to move. And it does have little etched numbers in here that you can see so that you can, set that sight, and you can always get it back if something happens. You know where you started from, you can always set it back to where it was. But great sight here, from Black Gold. You got that nice neon green scope ring there. That really catches your eye when you're looking through the peep sight. And look at those pins in there. I mean, those things are on fire. That's this fiber that's stored in this plastic housing. That's great, so nothing can get to it. You can't break those fibers. They're contained in there, but it's clear plastic, so the light gets through. It gathers all that light through the fiber, they're long fibers, and transmits it right there to that pin. In the package, you will get 54 sight tapes. This is going to be where you're going to tape those tapes right here onto this area. And then, of course, you have your indicator pin. You just have to figure out which one matches the speed of your bow. With 54 of them, there's probably going to be one that is going to work for you. So you just have to work through it and get your spacing correct. All right, so that is the Black Gold Pro Hunter HD sight, a great sight from the folks at Black Gold. Super bright pins there, got a lot of adjustability. Again, this is going to be a sight primarily designed for those bows with the Matthews Bridgelock system in them. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. And as always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at lancasterarchery.com.